Hello everyone and welcome to another YouTube video. My name is Natalie Byrne. I'm an author and illustrator, and today I'm going to plan my 2023. I know it feels a little bit late, but I like to spend January really mulling over my plan and my goals and seeing whether I get started or not, and really take it slow when planning rather than make something up on the spot and it not work. But before we get started, if you came to my workshop on beating procrastination, you will know that I went hard into how we can change our brains, because that's really the key to stopping procrastinating. And I discovered that we can change our brains, and it can take up to 8 weeks. So I am going on a journey that you will see here on YouTube, that I will also share in my newsletter, and you're welcome to come with me on the ride, on the journey. Thank you so much for the lovely comments and feedback about my video on procrastination as well. It's been so interesting to see how you experience that. And to learn from you as well. So hopefully this can be a little back and forth that we can all learn from each other. So please sign up to my newsletter if you want updates on that, and also stay tuned for more YouTube videos. That being said, if you haven't clicked subscribe, hit that button. And a massive thank you to my Patreons who support me. And if you're looking for any creative advice, I have a lot of resources on there, as well as lots of exciting things coming for 2023. And you can become a Patreon from just £1 a month. Without my Patrons, I wouldn't be able to make this video. So thank you so much. And let's get on into it. Let's plan 2023. I'm going to be going through some of the pages in my workbook that I put on Patreon, and also that is available on my shop that you can just buy. It's a digital download. I do one every year for the last few years, and it's been a joy to see everyone going through these little workbooks. I have already reflected on the last year, 2022, and that's this video. I'll put it up in the cards right now. But a big chunk of this workbook at the beginning is reflecting on the year. I think that's just such an important thing to do before you set your goals, and to know exactly where you're starting from. We're going to start on the page called Your Values. My top values that I really want to focus on this year: number 1 is creativity, number 2 is family and friends, number 3 is finance and admin, because I think those two things are so well connected for me, and community as the final one. So number 1, my value of creativity. I feel like I've just begun with my creative power and like my creative skill, and that's a really exciting feeling, to feel like I have been doing this for 5 years. I have been an illustrator professionally for 5 years, and I still feel like I'm scratching the surface on my creativity. And something I said to my boyfriend was, I really want to focus more on making my illustrations more dynamic. Final steps: what steps do I need to take to get where I want to be? Creative consistency. I think this is like the overall word for my 2023 is consistency. Next value is friends and family. One of the things I really want to focus on this year is like nourishing my current friendships while also creating new ones. I'm not very good at replying to my friends on WhatsApp. One of the things about growing older is that, or growing up, is that your life does become busy, and also call more. I think so many of my friends have got kids now, or they get married, or they live abroad. And what I've been doing in January is sending them my Calendly link, and just like a meeting, like booking a call with a friend, because if it's not in the calendar, it's just not going to happen. My value 3, finances and admin. Where I'm at with this at the moment is I procrastinate on it a lot. It's very much inspiring my procrastination kind of challenge that I'm on again. I wanted to get to the point in 2023 where I can say I have done all my admin, and like I'm doing it constantly. And I want to feel more knowledgeable about like finances and admin. Like maybe I'd love to like do a course, like maybe it's on Skillshare or anything. So if anyone has any suggestions on like books to read or courses to take about finances and admin, especially like bookkeeping for small businesses, I'd love to learn more about it. I think that's going to really help. My next value is community. Where I'm at with this at the moment is I'm quite lazy at like nourishing the community on socials, and like that's comes with my like illustrative work and business, and I hate that. The last few years I've been feeling really lonely, been feeling really isolated, and that's where I'm at with that value at the moment. I would love to do more events, more workshops, like in person. I think they do make such a difference. I've been doing online workshops for like 2 years now, and I did my first in-person workshop on Christmas. I'm such an introvert, so I get really nervous and scared about those things, but actually once I'm there, I'm just having the best time ever. And thank you to anyone who came to that workshop, because it was such a joy to meet all of you, and like meeting people is just I find it so inspiring. Yet I forget that because I'm an introvert that's quite shy. I'm just like, oh, people, I don't like to see people, so I like it. There's a clip from Made in Chelsea where one of the characters goes like, yeah, I don't like people, I prefer to like hang out with my dogs.
No, I prefer my dog's company than most other people.
Like, that's me. But actually this Christmas workshop made me realize like how important it is to not only step out my comfort zone as an introvert, but meet people in real life. It was like a heartful moment that inspired me so much. One of my goals a few years ago was to go to events by myself. I still have been doing that, and one of my friends, Sophie, I met at an event going by myself, so more of that. I'm gonna keep doing that. So yes to all the social things. The next section is planning. I'm gonna start planning this year. Here we go. I love this cute little illustration that I made for the workbook. Creativity. When it comes to the goal I have of creativity, the value, my goal is to make more stuff. So much of my creative energy can be like for clients, and actually I forget that it's such an important part of my personal kind of healing journey, mental health practice, and like wellness practice, I wanted to say. Like, it makes me feel like everything just makes sense when I make it. The steps to achieve this goal is create every weekday, even if it's just for an hour, trying to just sketch something every day that is just an idea from my notebook. All my best ideas have come through my journal first. I actually googled like what tips are there to be consistent with creative work, and I found this website that I'll link below, and they had a few little points, and the first step is to capture all your ideas, whether that's in a notebook or a sketchbook. So that's great because I already do that, and then in the afternoon I will just pick something from my journal and just digitize it. My progress and check-ins, this is pretty much going to be the same for every single one of my goals, is I'm going to do a weekly review and a monthly review. I could even do a roundup on TikTok or as a reel on Instagram of like art I made lately, which I have done a few of those before. So that could be a nice way to kind of be accountable to you as well, so you can see that. My potential challenges are that client work can take up all my time and energy during periods of lots of client work. And how I'm going to tackle that challenge is, even on those days when I feel completely creatively drained, I'm just going to take one of those old ideas from a notebook and just finish it. I don't have to think about what it looks like. I don't have to come up with a new idea. I think that's going to really help. My goal to cultivate and nourish friendships. My why is because I love my friends. My steps to this is to book more calls with friends, send out my Calendly link, which is a link where you can just automate meetings. I also want to book in time in my calendar every week to kind of reply to all my WhatsApps that are friends. And And I think a really nice way to do this would be once I've done a Pomodoro session, but I think I'm going to just focus on what I can control, which is like being better at responding, being better at making plans, being less of a at-home hermit, and go out and see people. I have my other goal, which is learning to drive. I bought a car, waiting for my provisional license to arrive, and I think it's been such a scary thing to like embark on learning something because I'm 30. So I really want, one of the steps with this goal is to kind of learn the best ways to learn. Like, how do we learn things? I've already kind of started on that, so it's been really interesting. I'm reading this book called Micromastery, which has opened my eyes into all the ways that we learn. And one of the reasons why this goal is so important is like obvious freedom, obvious things you can do when you drive, but also I want to do more markets, and I don't want to just be tied to markets in London, which I have done before. I want to be able to kind of have more freedom to go different places. One of the things is time and money. This is an expensive goal. I bought the car, it's happening. But yeah, I think it's going to be a shock to my system because I've always kind of done public transport, and I'm not used to that being an expense in my budget, but it's going to have to be part of it. Okay, so my next goal is to become an admin genius. This is an essential part of my business. It's also my biggest weakness. And what I've learned from Ryan Holiday's The Obstacle is the Way is that, can you see me okay? Am I losing light? Is that it's so like, actually maybe the things that you're weakest at can be the source of direction. The steps for this are, I am changing how I'm working this year, and I am going to start doing my admin, which usually I have put in my calendar to do on Fridays. I read something that was like, start with the task you're avoiding the most first. I don't know where I read that. I think it was an ADHD advice tip on procrastinating. And that has been very helpful. So I think I'm going to structure my whole business that way, and like create a business moving forward. I'm going to start the week with the thing that I am avoiding the most. One of the potential challenges with this is that I get bored. I don't like admin and numbers, and I get easily distracted, and I want to only do the things that I'm excited by. So how I'm going to tackle this is that I'm going to reward myself with self-care Mondays. So I'm going to pair it with a habit that I do find very exciting. First goal to the final page is to strengthen my own community. More markets, like all of that stuff that I've been talking about in my other goals as well. One of my potential challenges with this is I'm a scared introvert, like I mentioned before. I'm scared. The way I'm going to tackle this is take advice from my friends that are very great at doing in-person things, great at cultivating that community, and also experts. I'd love to listen to more books about the topic. My other potential challenge is I am terrible at sticking to a plan. So to that, I'm going to make it as simple as I can. And then my other goal is I want to read 43 books in 2023. Last year was the year that I read the least amount of books, like since I was a teenager. At the start of my business, I was reading so much, listening to a lot of audiobooks, reading a lot, and also reading a lot of non-fiction. It's no surprise that I really feel like that has the fact that I read the least amount of books last year. I think it really had an impact on. I felt very directionless. I felt really lost. I felt really like I was asking loads of questions and I didn't know who to turn to. Yeah, reading books was such a key part to me starting my business. And yeah, my why is because reading helps me feel more confident and makes me feel knowledgeable. And so I think it equates to like 4 a month ish. I want to read as much about kind of business and creativity and like the intersection of those two things as well, and just bring it into my bring it on here on YouTube. Maybe I could do some book review videos of books I've been really enjoying. Let me know if you'd like that. So now I have all of these things written down. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hit that subscribe if you haven't already. Follow me on all the things, and also in my newsletter where I will be sharing updates on my procrastination challenge. And stay tuned because I've got some really exciting things coming for Valentine's Day. Actually, you know what? I'm going to share my shop update date for Valentine's Day. Is going to be here up on the screen. If you go to my Instagram, you can hit the calendar and be reminded when the shop update goes live. Thank you so much for watching this video. Lots of love, and I'll speak to you soon.